How to think in English. Part 1, begin with verbs. If you are learning English and want to speak it naturally and confidently, this guide is for you. You will learn an easy and simple way to think in English. When you start thinking in English, speaking becomes much easier. You will not need to stop and translate in your head. You will speak more fluently and with more confidence. In this lesson, we will take the first step. We will learn how to think in English using verbs. Why is thinking in English important? Many students try to speak English, but first, they think in their own language. Then they try to translate every word into English. This takes time. Sometimes, they forget words or make mistakes. They feel nervous and stop speaking. Wouldn't it be great if you could skip this step? You can. You can start thinking directly in English. Thinking in English will help you speak faster, make fewer mistakes, and feel more confident. It's not hard. You just need to practice step by step. Let's begin with the first step. Step 1, think in verbs. Verbs are action words. They tell us what someone is doing. Examples of verbs: eat, run, read, talk, sleep. These are very common actions in daily life. Wherever you are, you can see or imagine actions. Begin by naming those actions in English. Practice in real life. Let's say you are walking in a park in your city. What do you see? You see people doing many things. A man is running. A woman is walking her dog. Two children are playing. Someone is reading a book. These are all verbs: run, walk, play, read. Now try to look around your environment. What are people doing? Try to say the actions in English in your head. If you are at a bus stop, a person is waiting. Someone is talking on the phone. A child is crying. Even when you are alone, you can practice. Use your imagination. If you are sitting alone at home, you can still practice thinking in verbs. Try this: close your eyes and imagine you are at the beach. What is happening? People are swimming. A boy is building a sandcastle. A woman is relaxing on a towel. Birds are flying above the sea. If you imagine the actions, you can describe them in your head using verbs in English. Another idea is to look at a photo. Open your phone or computer. Find a picture of a busy place, a street, a market, or a festival. Look at what people are doing. Use verbs in English to describe each action. You can also think about what you are doing. I am typing. I am drinking tea. I am listening to music. Make it a daily habit. The secret to getting better is to practice every day. Each day, choose a place: your home, your office, a park, or even a picture. Spend 5 minutes just thinking about what is happening, using only verbs in English. Here are some examples. At a cafe. A barista is making coffee. Customers are ordering drinks. Someone is laughing. On the train. People are reading. Someone is sleeping. A woman is writing in her notebook. At home. I am cooking. I am cleaning. I am relaxing. Use a small notebook or app. You can write down the verbs you see every day. Keep a small notebook, or use a notes app on your phone. Each day, write 3 to 5 new verbs from your day. Soon, you will have 50, then 100, and even more. Key practice tip. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes each day. Go to a new place or use a picture. Look around and think, what is happening? Use English verbs in your mind. Try to say the words quietly or out loud. Doing this daily will help your brain get used to using English for real situations. It's the first step to speaking English naturally and fluently. In the next part of this guide, we will go to the next level, thinking in nouns. When you know how to use both verbs and nouns, you can start forming short sentences, and that's when English starts to feel easy and fun. So keep going, and remember, even 5 minutes a day can change everything. Part 2, Think in Nouns. Welcome back. In the first part of this guide, we focused on how to think in English using verbs, the action words. Today, you're going to learn the next important step. It's time to start thinking in nouns. These are the words we use to name people, places, and things. Now, why are nouns so important? Well, if verbs are the engine that moves your sentences, nouns are the wheels. Without them, the sentence can't go anywhere. Imagine trying to talk about your day, but you don't know the words for the things around you. That's why thinking in nouns is the next step to fluency. So, what is a noun? A noun is any person, any place, or anything you can name. Your teacher is a noun. So is your phone. The park, the street, your friends, your dinner, these are all nouns. They're everywhere. And that's great news, because it means you can practice anytime, anywhere. Look around you right now. What do you see? Maybe you're in your kitchen. You see a table, a chair, a cup, maybe a fridge. All of these are nouns. Try saying them in English, one by one. You don't have to make a sentence. Just say the word. Table. Chair. Cup. You're training your brain to name the world in English. Let's take another example. Imagine you're walking in the street. Cars are passing by. People are walking. There are shops, bikes, traffic lights. Every object you see has a name. Start by noticing them and then say those names in English. You can say them in your mind if you're in public, or you can say them quietly to yourself if you're alone. Now let's try something a little different. Think about the items in your bag or your pocket. Maybe you have a wallet, some keys, a notebook, and a phone. Say each one in English. These are everyday objects, and learning their names in English will help you feel more comfortable using the language in real life. One fun and simple way to practice is to look at a photo. It could be a photo on your phone, or a picture from a magazine or a website. Try to describe what you see, using just nouns. For example, if you're looking at a picture of a family having a picnic, you might say basket, blanket, bottle, sandwich, child, ball, tree. Just focus on the things in the picture. This is a great way to build your vocabulary. You don't need a lot of time for this. Just 5 minutes a day is enough to make progress. Pick a place. Look around. Name what you see in English. That's it. Over time, you'll notice that you start doing this automatically, without even thinking. And that's the goal, to think in English without stopping to translate from your native language. You can also use this exercise when you go shopping. When you walk through a store or supermarket, you are surrounded by objects with names. Food, clothes, bottles, bags. Try saying their names in English in your head. If you see something and don't know the English word, take a note or snap a photo. Look it up later, and the next time you see it, you'll remember it. Now here's a small challenge for you. Every day, try to name 10 things around you in English. You don't need to write them down, but you can if you want to. Just look around and speak the words in your mind or out loud. You can even test yourself at the end of the day. Can you remember the 10 words you practiced? If yes, you're making great progress. And here's a fun little game you can try. Look around the room and pick 5 objects. Say them in English. Then close your eyes and try to remember them. Say them again. Open your eyes and check. This game helps you remember vocabulary in a fun and active way. Thinking in nouns is more than just learning new words. It's about learning to see the world through the lens of English. It's a small but powerful step that helps you speak faster, think clearer, and feel more confident. When you know nouns and verbs, you are ready to make your first full sentences. And that's exactly what we'll do in the next part of this journey. So keep going. Practice every day. Look at your world, and start naming it in English. You're doing better than you think. Part 3, Think in Sentences. Welcome to Part 3 of your journey to thinking in English. By now, you've learned how to think in verbs and nouns. That means you already know how to describe actions and how to name things around you. Now it's time to put those two together. In this part, you will learn how to think in simple English sentences. So, why are sentences important? Because when you speak, you don't just use one word. You use full ideas. And ideas live in sentences. A sentence gives your word structure and meaning. And the good news is, you don't need long or difficult sentences. Short, clear ones are best when you start. Let's look at a simple example. You know the verb run, and you know the noun dog. Now, put them together. You get a sentence. The dog is running. That's it. That's a full thought. It has a subject. It has a verb. It's clear. And it's English. You can do the same with many verbs and nouns. The baby is crying. The teacher is talking. A man is eating. The car is moving. These are all complete sentences, and each one is useful in daily life. When you practice creating simple sentences in your mind, you begin to train your brain to think in English thoughts, not just English words. Now let's try this in a real situation. Imagine you are sitting in a park. You look around and think, a woman is reading a book. A boy is kicking a ball. People are walking by. Birds are flying in the sky. These are short, simple descriptions of what's happening around you. That's the goal, to describe what you see, in full English sentences, without translating from your native language. If you are inside your home, you can still practice. You might say, I am cooking dinner. My sister is watching TV. The phone is ringing. These are sentences you can think at any time, in any place. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Let's say you're on a bus. You look out the window. You think, people are waiting at the bus stop. A man is reading a newspaper. The sun is shining. You're not speaking out loud, but your brain is working in English. That's powerful. That's fluency in progress. Now, don't worry if your sentences feel too short or too simple. In fact, that's perfect. When you speak a new language, it's more important to be clear than to be complex. Long sentences will come later. For now, focus on building the habit of making small, correct English sentences in your mind. With practice, your sentences will naturally grow longer. You'll start to add little details. For example, instead of just saying, "The girl is drawing," you might say, "The girl is drawing a picture of her family." Or, "The woman is sitting at the table and drinking a cup of coffee." This happens over time, and only after you're comfortable with the short sentences. Now, here's something important. When you practice, try to describe the world as it is happening. Think in the present. What is happening right now? What do you see? What is someone doing? These questions will help you form your thoughts in the moment, in English. You can do this any time during the day. In the morning, describe what you are doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm getting dressed. I'm making breakfast. Later, when you're out, describe what you see. And at night, you can think about what you did during the day. I went to work. I talked to my friend. I watched a movie. I made dinner. Try to use your English brain as much as you can. You don't need to speak to anyone. You don't need to write anything down. Just think in full sentences. Slowly, English will become your second inner voice. And here's something else. When you don't know a word, don't stop. Use a different word. Use simple words. If you want to say, "He's repairing the television," but you don't know the word repair, you can say, "He is fixing the TV." Or even just, "He is working on the TV." You can always work around new words using the ones you already know. That's what real communication is. So to recap, this stage is about combining verbs and nouns to make full, short sentences in your mind. You describe what you're doing, what you see, or what happened earlier. Do it often. Do it simply. And soon, your thoughts will flow in English without you even trying. You're already making amazing progress. In the next part, we'll go further. We'll bring everything together and learn to think in full paragraphs. That means telling a full story or describing a whole scene, all in English. But for now, keep practicing those sentences. Just a few minutes a day can make a huge difference. Part 4, Think in Paragraphs. Welcome to Part 4. You've already learned how to think in English using verbs. Then you added nouns. Then you started forming short sentences. Now, we're ready for the final step. In this part, you'll learn how to think in full paragraphs. This means you'll be able to describe moments and tell stories in English, naturally and with confidence. So, what is a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of sentences that talk about the same idea. It's not just one sentence like, "I am eating." It's a whole thought, maybe 4, 5, or 6 sentences that connect and explain what is happening, what you see, what you feel, or what you did. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are at the beach. You start by saying, "I'm sitting on the sand." That's your first sentence. Then you continue. The sun is warm, and the sky is blue. Children are playing near the water. A man is flying a kite. I can hear the sound of the waves and some music from a cafe behind me. You see? You're not just saying what's happening. You're painting a picture with words. That's a paragraph. Now you're thinking in English. Not just a little, but fully. You're describing a place. You're expressing an experience. You're using what you know to tell a short story in your mind. You can practice this anytime. For example, let's say you're walking through a busy market. In your mind, you can say something like this. The market is full of people. Everyone is moving quickly, and I hear people talking in many languages. I can smell the spices from a food stall. A man is selling fruit. A group of tourists is taking pictures. The colors, the sounds, the smells, everything feels alive. This is thinking in a paragraph. It's real. It's English. And it's all coming from your own thoughts. Don't worry about making it perfect. The grammar doesn't have to be exact. The important thing is that your brain is now working in English. You're no longer just translating word by word. You're creating meaning. You're telling the story of the moment in your own English voice. This kind of thinking is also great for remembering words. When you use vocabulary in real sentences and in full descriptions, your brain remembers better. You are not just learning English. You are using English. Here's another way to practice. At the end of the day, take a moment to think about your day in English. Try to tell yourself the story of what happened. Start from the morning. Maybe you say something like, I woke up early today because I had an important meeting. I made some tea and read a few pages from a book. Then I got dressed and took the bus to the city center. The streets were busy, and the weather was cold. At work, I finished a report and talked with my boss. After work, I met a friend at a small cafe, and we talked for an hour before I went home. This is your day. But it's your day in English. And that's powerful. Even if nothing big happens, you can still describe the small moments. You can talk about your breakfast, your walk, your thoughts. You can describe your favorite cafe or your favorite place to relax. You're training your mind to go deeper. You're learning how to connect ideas. That's real fluency. And here's something wonderful. When you can think in paragraphs, you'll be ready for conversations. You'll be able to answer questions with full answers. You'll be able to share stories, express opinions, and ask better questions. Speaking will feel more natural, because you'll already be thinking in English. Let's take one more example. Imagine you're in a cozy library on a rainy day. Think like this, I'm sitting near a big window, and the rain is tapping gently on the glass. The room is quiet, and I can hear people turning pages. The smell of books and old wood fills the air. I have a cup of coffee next to me, and I'm reading a story about a man who travels the world. Outside, the sky is gray, but in here, everything feels warm and calm. You see? This is not just English. This is experience. This is your voice, your thoughts, your story, all in a new language. You can practice this anytime. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a book. You just need your imagination, your eyes, and a few minutes of quiet. When you walk, think in English. When you're on the train, describe what's around you. When you lie in bed at night, go through your day in English. And if you don't know a word, it's okay. Use the words you do know. Speak simply. The goal is not perfection. The goal is fluency. And fluency begins with practice. So now, you've reached the final step. You've learned how to think in verbs, in nouns, in full sentences, and now in rich, connected paragraphs. This is the foundation of thinking and speaking in English naturally. You've come so far, and this is only the beginning. Every word you think, every sentence you build, brings you closer to true fluency. Trust yourself, stay curious, and let English become a natural part of your world. Remember, the more you practice, the more your voice will shine. Keep going, you're becoming the English speaker you always dreamed of. Thank you for listening this lesson. If you liked it, write about it in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new lessons.